Mengelalukan Dr. Basri untuk menyertai DAP. Khasnya dalam zaman yang sangat gelap ini. We are in a very dark era, and we need more Malaysians of character, of conviction, of idealism to want to have a new Malaysia to step forward. And I think this is a most opportune time untuk Dr. Basri to come forward to join this Save Malaysia campaign. I have a statement. The tajuk is Apandi, the new Attorney General, going to be Najib's hatchet man to usher a new dark age, subjecting national institutions to a second wave of attack? Or will he be a sentinel to ensure an enlightened and democratic Malaysia? The first statement by the new Attorney General Apandi is to justify the removal of his predecessor Gani Patail as unconstitutional and according to law. Apandi said his predecessor's rank is not reduced in any way. Are we having two Attorney Generals in Malaysia? Apandi with all the powers and perks of the office, and Gani enjoying all the perks but not the powers of Attorney General. Apandi said that Article 1456 of the Federal Constitution requiring the setting up of a judicial tribunal for the dismissal of the Attorney General in the right manner as the dismissal of a federal court judge does not apply, relying fully on Article 1455 that states that the Attorney General holds office at the pleasure of the Yang di Pertuan Agong. I will leave it to the lawyers, and afterwards we can ask our expert on the constitutional law to address this nettlesome question whether Gani's sudden and summary sacking as Attorney General on Monday is constitutional or not. However, in an era when the government knows best is over, something which the PM, Najib, had fully acknowledged when he became PM in April 2009, Malaysians are entitled to a full explanation why Gani has been treated so shabbily and humiliatingly, that he had been sacked suddenly and summarily after serving for nearly 13 years as AG and will retire in 2 months on October the 6th when he celebrates his 60th birthday. Gani would not have been taken by surprise by his termination as AG on Monday if he had applied for early retirement. Wasn't he entitled to the basic courtesy of being informed that his tenure as AG has been terminated? If health problems were the real reasons for the termination, was Gani suffering from such serious disability and incapacity as a result of his health problem to cause him to underperform or to become an ineffective Attorney General, that Gani had to be removed immediately, suddenly and summarily as AG, without extending any basic courtesy or decency to Gani as happened on Monday? But this does not tally with reality. For Malaysians in the world must find it all the most extraordinary that in recent weeks, Gani seemed to be at the peak of his public life, in full command and control of his intellectual and moral and mental prowess and resources as head of the 4-agency special task force on the 1MDB scandal and the Wall Street Journal report alleging that 2.6 billion ringgit had been deposited into Najib's personal accounts in March 2013, just before the 13th general elections. In fact, despite the cloud of public suspicion and distrust that the special task force comprising Bank Negara Malaysia, MACC, police and AG's chambers, and as they are all agencies which are junior and subordinate to the PM, who is in fact the subject of investigations, despite all this suspicion that it could carry out any independent and professional investigations, Gani and the Special Task Force were beginning to produce some results, with the freezing of bank accounts and the arrest of various personalities involved. Is it because Gani, as head of the Special Task Force into the 1MDB and the Wall Street Journal allegations, was being hyperactive rather than suffering any disability or incapacity, which warranted the humiliating episode on Monday, when the PM could not wait for another 2 months for Gani to retire mandatorily on reaching his 60th birthday, sacking him suddenly and summarily, replacing him with a 65-year-old Attorney General. Veteran newsman Khadija Sin has questioned whether Gani's removal was because he was on the verge of filing charges in the 1MDB case in connection with the multi-agency special task force investigations in this and the Wall Street Journal report. Can Apandi allow Gani to answer this question? Or will Apandi himself answer this question? Apandi has created Attorney General history in more than one sense, including being the oldest AG to be appointed, as all his predecessors were at the prime of their careers, whether Gani, Ainum, Mokhtar, Abu Talib, Hamza, or Abdul Qadir Yusuf. It is very sad and tragic to see the pathetic condition where the first law officer of the land, who should be in the forefront to protect the basic constitutional rights of all citizens, himself becoming a victim of injustice, and incapable and dare not himself stand up for justice for himself. Will Apandi, as a new AG, stand up and fight for justice for his predecessor, Gani Patail? In fact, I want to ask Apandi, as the new AG, whether he's going to be Najib's hatchet man to usher in a new dark age, subjecting national institutions to another second wave of attacks. The first wave of course by Patail. Or whether he will be the nation's sentinel to ensure an enlightened and democratic Malaysia. Firstly, let him state whether he will be in charge and prosecute the Prime Minister Najib Razak for corruption or any offence in the land if investigations unearth adequate evidence for such prosecution. Former Deputy Prime Minister Muhyiddin has said in a leaked video that the PM has admitted that 2.6 billion ringgit have been deposited into his private bank accounts. Will Apandi as AG ensure that there will be the fullest follow-up in investigations into the issue of 2.6 billion ringgit deposited into Najib's personal accounts, and also where the monies came from, where they went to, whether the monies were used for the 13th general elections, and the political parties, ministers, deputy ministers, and candidates who had received funding from Najib's personal accounts. In this connection, what is the position of the multi-agency special task force on the 1MDB and Wall Street Journal allegations? Whether Gani is allowed to continue to lead the special task force, or whether he has taken off this assignment as he is suffering from great disability and incapacity because of his health problems. And so, who is now the head of this special task force? Is the special task force still in existence, as it seemed to have suddenly gone into hibernation? I've been intrigued by a Malaysian Gani report yesterday that the 5 independent oversight panels of the MACC, in a joint statement, said there should be no interference or pressure on the special task force investigating 1MDB. It said, and I quote, "The task force must be given the widest possible latitude to conduct in the investigations with a fear of favor. In the matter, we strongly feel it is highly pertinent to ensure the integrity of MACC as an independent anti-corruption commission is maintained and uncompromised. Will all the members of the 5 MACC oversight panels collectively resign in protest if there is any interference or pressure with such independent investigations into the 1MDB, as in arrest of officers from any one of the 4 agencies constituting the special task force? The authorities must be aware that in the past few days, rumour mills have been working overtime to cast a pall in the country that the sacking of the DPM and Shafi Abdul was just an earnest for a hurricane to come, equivalent to Ops Lalang 15. There's 2015 lah. And the powers that be are on the verge of a crackdown against a so-called ring of 13 conspirators in an international plot to criminalize Najib and to topple the elected Prime Minister of Malaysia. This so-called ring of 13 conspirators have been named, and as people who will be charged under Section 124 of the Penal Code on offences related to activities detrimental to parliamentary democracy, which could send persons convicted to up to 20 years in jail. Among the 13 conspirators named, involved top personnel from 3 of the 4 agencies constituting the Special Task Force. 4 from Bank Negara, 3 from MACC, 1 from the Task Force, 2 from the world of journalism, and a member of Parliament. Section 124 of the Penal Code was enacted by Parliament in 2012 to deal with terrorism, but it seems to have become a favourite weapon to deal with whistleblowers. This is why I asked Apandi whether as a new AG he is going to be the Najib's hatchet man to usher a new dark age subjecting national institutions to a second wave of attack, or will he be a sentinel to ensure an enlightened and democratic Malaysia? We are in dangerous times.